The duration of the speech is 6 to 8 minutes, and the title of the speech is The Politics of Terrorism. Please help me welcome Frank.
Thank you. I'm going to talk about why is it that some of these Islamic terrorists really want to kill Americans. Now, I want to make it clear that there is a lot of Islamic fundamentalists out there, but only a very, very minor, small group are really out to kill us. They're really upset like this. Let me lay down the tracks as to why it is. Mitt Romney is running for president. Maybe a month ago, he came out with a very unusual statement in one of these conferences that he had, and he pointed out, and he says, American culture is a cesspool of iniquities, sex, scandals, you name it. Violence, it is the worst in every continent. I mean, counting all of the states in the world, America has the most combined. Now, I've been listening in to Billy Graham. There are some revival speeches that he has made. And since 1970, Billy Graham, just about every speech that he made, said the same thing about America. That it is a cesspool, our culture is a cesspool. Not only that, but he said that Sodom and Gomorrah is nothing compared to what is going on right now in the United States. Now, with that in mind, fundamentalists, Islamic, don't want this kind of culture to wash up their shores. They're trying to hold back our culture because this is what's happening. Let's take first Saudi Arabia. There are a lot of fundamentalists in Saudi Arabia, and they do not want this kind of American culture sweeping over them right now. But there's very little that they can do. 70% of the 25 million people that are in Saudi Arabia are under 30 years old, and they've seen the world, and they're out there to change, and they want change. But the fundamentalists want to go the opposite direction. The state, Saudi Arabia, the kingdom, basically is a ruthless dictatorship that crushes these fundamentalists in a very unusual way. Even though there are a few that want to take over pretty much the kingdom, they are the rest of the fundamentalists who want a very simple life. They're trying to keep American culture, or European for that matter, away. Those are also taking the burden. And in Saudi Arabia, they're really cracking down in a big way. A lot of people are getting hurt, and as a result, a lot of people are suffering because of it. And also, interesting enough, all of the money that the Arabians are getting, it comes from the United States, and also we are also supplying them all of the weapons that they have. And this is another reason for them, for the fundamental, to feel that there is another weight above that's crashing down on them. Not necessarily, I mean, they're blaming us in some way, but at the same time, they're looking outside and they're looking and see that we don't do anything about it to relieve and to understand their plight. Because we do something about it. For instance, we're putting pressure on the Chinese to open up their democracy, but we are not putting pressure on the Arabians. The Arabs are pretty much saying, look, you want our oil, stay away from our business, and we're pretty much backing off. But this is the tension that is taking place right now in Saudi Arabia. Take another state, Egypt right now. Egypt, 75 million people. Quite a few fundamentalists there at the same time. The same situation is there. A lot of them want to restrict the rules, trying to prevent the West and culture to come in But yet Egypt is the ruling class wants this openness, and at the tune of $10 billion a year, we are supporting that government in Egypt. In Egypt, when it comes to the fundamentalists there, they're crushing down in an incredible way. They're torturing them, they're putting them in prison, and it is amazing how many people have been sent away, killed. That ruthless regime in Egypt really presses down on these people. Move down now to Israel, and you know what's going on in Israel pretty much. In Israel, we have been supporting them, whether they're right or wrong, but as a result of that, the Arabs have it in for us, because we have never made an effort to come to a conclusion to help the Palestinians to come to some kind of resolutions with this country. And ever since 50 years ago, Israel has been a real pain as far as the Arabs and the United States, and for them, and what we are representing. Not only that, but we are paying Israel $10 billion. This is a very small, it is like 4 times the size of Harris County. And we are paying them all this money, and we're supporting them with military. And this is why they're strong, and they're maintaining this power. And the Arabs are really, I mean, they have not resolved this issue. Now, these are the 3 items. The one that really takes the cake is Iran. Why is it that Iran is really out after us, and we have a problem with them? Gentlemen, in 1952, in Iran elected a democratic government, and that government had the audacity to ask British Petroleum and Standard Oil in the United States to give them a little bit of more money. And the United States said no. So what they did, they stood their ground, but then our CIA and the CIA from the Brits overthrew this government and put in place the Shah. The Shah ruled for 25 years in a most ruthless way. He must have killed over 100,000 people, most of the fundamentalists, because they saw how unfair it was. And to this day, we owe the Iranian, we have in our banks, billions and billions of dollars that we have not paid them since they rebelled. They stood up. At one point, they had enough and finally took over. And now it is a complete Islamic nations, and they're really after us. They've never forgotten what has happened to them. In conclusion, I would like to say that we need to learn as to what it is that's going on out there. For one moment, I do not want to say that killing people, it is justified what it is they're doing. But I do say, election is coming up, and it is up to us to learn so that we can find a way to improve the situation.